London is now home to more billionaires than any other city on the planet.
It's more. It's London. Who doesn't love London?
And like all of us, they need feeding.
She's edible gold and silver.
There's no flavour whatsoever.
But while we use the supermarket and millionaires use the Michelin Guide, billionaires use a private network of luxury food suppliers.
We provide the most expensive coffee in the world. It's £300 per cup, and it's worth it. Billionaires want what no one else can have.
These cost £5,000 per shot.
Wow. That would be about £12,000.
Well, impressive.
To survive in this new high-stakes market, they must be willing to go to any length to source the finest food and drink.
Every single bottle of this has been around the world in barrels lashed to the deck of a ship.
And satisfy the appetites of the world's most demanding clients.
The Middle Eastern market love a bit of bling.
You know, I definitely have my salmon man who smokes his salmon and he plays live jazz music to it and it makes the salmon taste better.
For me, go big or go home.
How you feel with something. Everything in luxury is nice. I think the people who buy diamonds definitely are that same market that are probably going to be buying caviar. So we're tasting 4 caviars today. When we taste caviar, we always taste it on the back of our hand. And we do that so nothing impairs the taste. You just get the taste of the caviar.
You would not even use a gold spoon?
If you use gold or silver, it would oxidise. I mean, I haven't got any solid gold spoons, but
We can do this. Yeah.
In Laura's world, when you want to win over new clients, diplomacy is everything, especially when presented with a dizzying mix of wealthy Iranians, Russians and Lebanese.
Beluga is the most expensive. Historically, Iran was always the best.
I grew up in parts of Russia, so I know about beluga. I don't know much about the rest. And I remember it's been very soft.
Sometimes people say to me, oh, we're doing a tasting, can we have Russian farm caviar? And I won't buy it because the quality is just so poor. It's awful.
It used to be the latest.
It's a very small farm in Belgium that I work with. They produce the best caviar, really. I think you'll be surprised in terms of how soft they all are. Take a spoon and then just dig into the middle and put it on the back of your hand. Please, please. Perfect.
Very soft.
That's how it should be. That's how it should be. It's very good taste. What's not good about it?
In top hotels, this 1.8 kilo tin of beluga can retail for £24,000.
Caviar is rare, so even farmed, you've got to wait 12 years before the beluga will be ready to produce the eggs. It's the rarity, it's the time it takes you, and that's what denotes the cost.
Next is the slightly cheaper Aussie Etra.
Go for it, go for it.
I like the texture of this one more.
Because it's firmer.
And I usually like more expensive things, so.
Flock to Britain. The private jet industry is booming. London airports now handle almost 270 private flights every day. And ex-private chef Daniel Hume is a man who wants to provide our onboard meals.
London, for me, is now the ultra-high net worth capital of the world.
Africa is becoming a big market for us. We have a big Middle Eastern and Russian base.
The individuals flying on these aircraft, money is no longer an object for them.
We've seen bedrooms, cinemas, steam rooms. I know of one aircraft where they've flown on a commercial airline. An economy meal is going to cost the airline roughly between £1 and £2 for that meal. Moving up to first class is going to cost between £4 and £10 maximum. For us, we're looking at average about £250 to £1,000 per head.
The bar for us is set very, very high because the individuals who we're serving only got there by demanding the best.
Let's get it onto trays and then we can start plating it, yeah? Let's go. We're going to run out of time.
But Daniel doesn't just make high-end food. To accommodate his clients' demands, he's become a one-stop shop, sourcing anything they desire direct to their plane.
Hi, Nina, it's Charlotte calling from On Air Dining. How are you?
We will get you whatever you want, but you've got to pay for it. We charge concierge fees for drivers to go and get that product. And we had one a couple of weeks ago where we wanted 25 Happy Meals.
Okay, I just need to order some mini white orchids.
We have clients who'll order extremely spicy curry.
If they can be wrapped in an olive, please.
And then they'll order £2,000 bottles of Mouton Rothschild 98 and we'll sweep that down. How they can taste it, I don't know. Everybody likes what they like.
In this world, you have to be very careful.
Yeah, this is a Royer from 1865. Lincoln was shot in 1865. This is a 1788. The year before the French Revolution, or the American Constitution. It is a very, very, very rare cognac. These cost £5,000 per shot. Let's say out of this bottle now there is about another 6 people could drink out of this bottle. Once it's gone, bent. So I'm very careful who I'm going to give it to, right? This is not a question of how much money you have. The integrity here is, do you deserve the experience?
Russian property tycoon Lev Loginov believes he does.
Well, I think it's important to have a taste of what all has to offer, because never taste anything better. So.
£5,000 for a single shot. Is it worth it?
I guess yes. This would be paying for it.
£20,000 on caviar. It's a lot of money.
33-year-old Jing Wei was educated at Cambridge and Harvard in computing and finance. He's a very 21st century entrepreneur.
This is my daughter Holly.
This is Jane. Holly, oh, nice to meet you.
Do you like caviar?
To be honest with you, I'm very new to this.
Tell me, someone said to me that there is a Chinese proverb that if you eat fish roe, fish eggs, you'll be bad at maths.
Yes, how do you know that? Yeah.
Trust me, I know everything about China now. I've learned a lot about China. What do you do?
It's pretty new. It's in cryptocurrency. I'm not sure you've heard of that.
It's Bitcoin. And is it successful?
It is quite good. I mean, it costs a month from 0 to 0.7, yeah, 0.7 million US dollars.
Wow. A beluga sturgeon in the wild could be more than a ton in weight, 4 metres long. So that's the size of a sort of mini. I mean, it's massive. It's the most expensive food in the world.
And it's what they call an acquired taste.
That's very different from anything I've tried before.
That to a private individual would be about £12,000.
Well, impressive.
One hotel in London sells it for £14,000 a kilo that I supply.
I see. So I'll buy from you directly.
Much better. You'll get a much better deal. Yeah, please have. I suppose caviar stands for wealth, it stands for luxury, it stands for the best. Maybe it makes some people feel important. It makes them feel that they've got a lot of status.
Obviously, it is luxury food, but I personally think in China, there are a lot of young Chinese couples, they might have Western style weddings, so this might be a good fit.
Have you got a wedding coming up?
Probably. As I said before, for me, it's experience. It's going back in history. It's also creates memories. Like for me, it will be a special memory because of a child I'm expecting in the next few days.
As the rich get richer, their spending is escalating beyond belief. Top-end private jets are in higher demand than ever before. This brand new plane was custom built for its owner. It cost over £60 million and took 5 years to finish. Today, Daniel Hume of On Air Dining is on a research trip, and going on board a client's jet is something he rarely gets to do.
You've seen most things, so having something that tells a really cool story like food makes things more interesting.
And knowing precisely what the modern billionaire wants means Daniel must set the highest standard.
We do not negotiate on produce. Now, every caterer and restaurant in the world will tell you they use the best produce. They're price conscious. We're not price conscious. We're in a side of the industry which is fantastic for my chefs is they can use whatever product they like, we just charge accordingly for it.
But creating top quality food from the finest produce is not easy at 40,000 feet.
When you're in the air, you lose about 50% of the flavour of salt. So when we design a dish, we look at making sure there's plenty of umami and strong flavours that can blast through the dryness on board.
It's not just the food's provenance and taste that have to be perfect. Presentation is key.
These are our squeezy bottles. Quite proud of these. These took me 18 months to find. They have the perfect squeeze. I'm quite perfectionist. I'm a little bit OCD when it comes to things like that.
But for all Daniel's attention to detail, it won't be him plating up on board.
Have you seen the list of attendees? You started cutting
So he invites flight attendants to his base at Stansted to show them how to serve his culinary creations.
As you know, some of your clients are very, very particular on what they like and how they like things presented.
I think certainly on private jet food is most definitely theatre. Something for them to do to pass the time. Some clients, I flew one recently who wanted their cat to eat out of crockery basically. So I set up a place for the cat as I would for the human passengers.
What I'm going to do is, which you're going to practice doing.
But even if you have one of Daniel's special squeezy bottles, plating up to look like a work of art isn't easy. Even on the ground.
That's very nice, very precise. You've got space on both sides there.
Most of the clients I've worked with personally have been billionaires or multi-billionaires. And it gets quite frustrating sometimes because they're asking for something really random. Like you just left London and now you're in the middle of a snowy village in Russia and they want Cadbury's cream egg. And there were millions of them where you just left, but now they want to say you can't find cream egg in Russia.
Fantastic, brilliant.
You can't really say no. In a way, it's like they pay us to keep them happy, to make their life easy, and if they want something, they've got to have it.
Richard Hardwick and Dave Foster sell coffee, but not just any coffee.
We do something no one else does. We provide the rarest, most exclusive, most expensive coffee in the world. It's like the Rolls Royce of coffees, really, or the Bugatti.
Today, just a few doors down from Roman Abramovich on one of London's most exclusive streets, they're meeting a prospective new client.
Exactly what that's it. That's exactly it.
Oh, so the reason why, as you said, there's no the acidity and no bitterness like you normally get is because as it passes through their system, the enzymes actually reduce the acidity in the coffee bean. That's why it tastes so smooth.
Let me get this absolutely straight. Do they spit out the cherry?
No, it passes through their system. And
So they poo it out?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it goes through their system, and the next day we scoop them up, and then we dry them and clean them. We do that with every single bean.
It's absolutely crazy. No wonder it's so expensive. That is quite extraordinary.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so rare.
Yeah,
it's rarely because it's pure nature.
Yeah, nature is finest. Yeah, it's just a beautiful thing to end a meal with. Why? Life is short for bad coffee.
And if there's one place you should never serve bad coffee, it's on a private jet.
I mean, the coffee is absolutely incredible. I've never tasted a flavour like it. I thought, wouldn't this be amazing if we could actually put these into desserts?
Daniel Hume's business promises to revolutionise food on private planes, so he's constantly under pressure to reinvent the dining experience.
This is edible golden silver.
And what better way than to use the world's most expensive coffee to create the ultimate range of desserts?
Coffee is the most expensive product. It's a case of we're creating a dessert that is a showcase of who we are as a brand.
To brainstorm the future of pudding, Daniel has brought together top mixologist Simon Weston from Pontoon Drinks, head chef Colin Barnett, and general manager Kevin Duxbury.
What are we looking at the cost? The two most expensive things that we could use here are one of the 32 carat gold leaf, if we use that. If there's a platinum, that's obviously going to be more expensive. The other thing is the coffee. We know that the coffee is it £300 a cup?
The higher breweries is £300.
Therefore, one tablespoon.
Use it to also improve the flavour. Very good.
When cooking for a private client, Justin has no budget. His only brief is to impress.
When you're cooking for the super rich, you've got to be more, you've got to be better. You want to provide the best of the best. I think it's great to be able to surprise them with things that they've never tried or can't even get hold of. It's nice to be able to deliver the unattainable.
And now his clients won't settle for anything less, which means Justin has become an expert in the rarest delicacies and extreme food.
There's one thing I've heard of called perseverance, or the gooseneck barnacle, which I've been wanting to try out and suggesting to a client of mine next week actually, for one of our dinner parties we're having. And I'm very much looking forward to surprising them.
But the unattainable can come at the highest price. Through the winter months, as unrelenting Atlantic swells batter the Galician coast, a small group of men risk their lives to harvest the local delicacy, persebres or gooseneck barnacles.
Siempre digo que el que no pasó miedo nunca en este oficio es un mentiroso.
These men, known as perseveros, use the simplest of equipment to secure themselves onto the rocks.
Pues este oficio es arriesgado porque te tienes que arriesgar para ganar más dinero.
The most highly prized percebes are the most dangerous to harvest, growing deep below the waterline.
Peligroso, donde más va del mar. Hay que estar muy ágil y chum.
It's estimated that each year 5 perseveros die harvesting this rarest of foods.
El peligro está en la conciencia de uno mismo, de un persevereiro. Hay persevereiros muy valientes, pero están metidos en la aguja.
On average, a persevero will earn €400 a day. But by the time these barnacles reach London, they can cost more per gram than gold. She's responsible for food and beverages at Brown's, and with new money in town, wants the finest caviar.
To land a big client like Brown's or the 40 Group would be fantastic for King's.
But Laura thinks it's time for daughter Holly to step up and pitch for the business herself, so she's brought her to a caviar farm in France to learn more about her precious product.
Are you going to hold it? I'm not. My best coat. That's no way I say.
In 2006, it became illegal to catch wild sturgeon, and now all caviar is farmed. The fish are given an ultrasound to see if their eggs are ready to be harvested. If mature, the sturgeon are humanely killed and their eggs removed.
Gosh, it smells so fishy. You know, like Play-Doh when you're a kid? It feels like that.
Will we taste it if you want to taste that?
It's not fishy, it's just nutty, it's quite... It's just one taste, it's nutty, that's the only way I can describe it.
One fish can produce £2,000 worth of caviar.
I've got much more understanding as to why the product is so...
It's a great supporting actors. 1, 2.
Each drop is precious.
Things for us that could go wrong is the coffee flavour completely disappears. 8, 9, 10.
Just putting a little syrup to make a caramel, and I'm going to drop a bit of this coffee essence in it to see if it would take the flavour as well, and how much I need to put in. While nobody's looking, I can use a bit more, so...
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm trying to make a statement with these desserts that we are a company who thinks differently. At this level is demand for the best. There is nothing else.
After months of research and almost £20,000 spent on development, Daniel is finally ready to unveil his trio of desserts.
There is a level of trying to understand and get into the super rich mindset. The individuals flying on these aircraft, money is no longer an object for them.
My only concern with the plating on this one will be these.
It's not about money anymore. It's about the provenance of what you're eating.
Each dessert incorporates the world's most expensive coffee, sourced from the Sumatran jungle, where it's being eaten and excreted by an Asian palm civet cat.
That's how people want to eat nowadays, and I think that's what we want to create.
The top-end diamond dessert is made from Malaysian coconut milk, blended with Madagascan vanilla and a Kopi Luwak coffee sphere infused with vermouth, topped with 24-karat gold. It will retail on board for over £400 a plate. Tasting the desserts are two of Daniel's biggest clients from leading private jet operator Gamma Aviation. Their clients are some of the wealthiest people in the world.
So is this the world's most expensive dessert?
It will be one of the world's most exclusive desserts. In food terms, you can put it there with your Rolls Royces and your elite jewellery.
Has anybody had a taste of it yet?
We are experimenting with it.
It's amazing.
That's good.
This in itself, you get the real flavour of how the coffee actually tastes, the dark mousse.
That is an amazing dish. Just understanding that sort of level of craftsmanship that goes into it is going to be key to having this in the air. Food tastes better when you've got the story. It's as simple as that. And this tastes amazing already, but imagine once you've got the theatre, once you've got the story. Brilliant.
Do you think there are clients that will be overpaying for it?
There's definitely a market for it, and there'll definitely be people interested in it.
Well, this end of the industry, right at the top end, I would put it less down to showing off and more down to how people want a story.
Perishable goods.
The bigger you can make that story and the more elaborate and the more interesting, the more they like it.
Justin Horn's Besavis have arrived, fresh from the churning waters of the Galician coast.
They're like prehistoric dinosaur fingers. It's crazy that people die so someone can have it on their plate. So I think for some clients that would be a good dinner table story.
Nowadays, people are buying more than just a plate of food. The story behind it is massively important.
People always want to have the one-upmanship at their dinner parties, and they like to impress the guests, so these, I think, will do the job.
Everybody's looking for that thing that's a little bit different.
Surprisingly good, actually.
That's never been done before, never been seen before.
Next week, we're doing a wedding with 200 hot dogs.
Everybody's looking for what's next.
How much could you charge for that plate, you think?
So I don't know, maybe £100 a plate? £100 a plate? We're buying the story that goes with it. Where will it end? I don't know. I can't say. Giant octopus, giant squid.
If a client came to you and said, I want to eat giant squid, would you take it on?
If a client asked me to make giant squid, yeah, if we get hold of it.
London is now home to more billionaires than any other city on the planet.
We have shorter attention spans, and we want to move on to the next thing.
To succeed, Britain's top food producers must innovate like never before.
This little frog basically is the future of food.
Can I definitely have my salmon man who smokes his salmon and he plays like...
The world's most expensive fungi.
It's a real kind of mushroomy, kind of garlicky smell.
Harvested in the wild, from under the ground, a single truffle can be worth over £1,000. And in top restaurants, the Mira slice adds hundreds to the bill. And for Mira, business is booming.
Please take them off. Oh, wow. So these are the big pieces. Okay.
Lately, she's been selling 10 kilos of truffles a week.
My business is definitely a sign of the time.
Really expensive, but I mean, I know you can pay more than that retail, which is amazing. And chapeau, frankly. It's one thing to source expensive rare wines, it's another thing to seek the unobtainable. And that's really the level at which I operate and try, wherever possible, to succeed.
Tom sources wine from across the world.
Hey Tom.
Hi guys, how are you?
Often only buying single bottles that nobody else even knows about.
So this is the finance in 218 now. That's 600 yes.
Brilliant. Thank you, guys. London has become a playground for the wealthy, and they are quite demanding, unquestionably. They're used to getting their own way and getting what they want. So what do you get?
More farms get up to speed. The price of caviar's coming down.
To keep his label exclusive, Ken has had to innovate. 2 years ago, he set up Britain's first caviar farm.
Look at that, that's a bloody big haul. That is a very, very good roast We're the only ones British. We knew that some chefs would buy British, and it went down very well. Yeah, fresh caviar. Half an hour ago, that fish was me.
To stand out from his competition, Ken is constantly searching for something new. This month is launching a project which promises to turn the world of caviar on its head.
Why are we doing a frog? Because that little frog is the future of food. So that little frog has been at the forefront of cancer research, regeneration technology, cell generation, stem cell technology, and the results and what this stuff does is phenomenal.
Ken has discovered that the African clawed frog has miraculous medicinal properties. He plans to infuse an extract from the frog's spawn into his caviar to create a new elixir of youth, Caviar XL.
When I first heard about it, I thought to myself, it was a joke. I got very excited about it, but something inside me said, actually, there's something here. Caviar XL is sturgeon caviar, real sturgeon caviar, infused with an extract of the Xanthus labius frog. I think we're going to probably charge about £100,000 a kilo.
Over the next 3 weeks, as London...
No one else could do it, and we put together something which, quite frankly, no one else has the access to do.
Achieving the impossible is a common goal for many people supplying the super rich, and Ken Benning thinks he might have just done it. His Caviar XL, infused with frog spawn extracts.
In the world. This is kind of worth, 100 quid? £100. What do we find valuable? What is it that we value as a society? Is it really about delicacy? Is it really about the fact that this is only available to us and that you're really passionate about it? Which actually...
Britain's salmon smoker is Ulla Hansen. He works out of a tiny basement in North London, and perhaps more than any smoker in Britain, he sells a fantastic story.
When I was 5 years old, I had this sort of amazing smoked salmon on my grandfather's homemade bread, and eating this when the midnight sun is coming up on the Arctic tundra. It's just a memory that I never forget. And I guess that's what I'm doing here, is a recreation of all this taste I lost in my childhood.
Every stage of Ula's process comes with a tale, from the salting through to the smoking room itself.
This is my grandfather's smoking table, and one of the ideas that my grandfather had is that the salmon should move in the wind. And he believed that if the salmon moves in the wind, there will be some migration of taste. So what he means, I think, is that there's energy put into the salmon. It's not just dead. It's still alive, and we're utilizing the energy of the wind to stimulate the proteins and the enzymes. And I find it very poetic.
What is art? Is it painting a painting, or is it the art of biking? Is it the art of learning how to fix a motorcycle? The art of smoking salmon is very much just a perpetual study, week after week.
Ula has even separated a man's cut of salmon from a woman's.
So the men tend to be more rough and strong and liking the salty and the strong flavors, while women are more, well, what can I say, super sensitive and they love delicacy and women are great. But at least we have a way of describing not just a pack of salmon, but more.
We definitely live in a world where the myths and the stories and the old wives' tales are a key part of the appeal factor. It is all part of the chit-chat, dinner banter.
In Ken Benning's office, the myth of eternal youth is possibly about to be made real.
The box has just arrived out, delivered. Labelled as live fish, but it's not fish.
These are little frogs.
Right. Must be inside
Right,
the tank.
get down there. Right, we need to use that stuff apparently because we want to treat the water. I think the froggies are in here. What we'll do, by the looks of it, I'm assuming that in that little package there, there's the frogs. It's quite exciting.
2 days after placing an order, Ken's first batch of African clawed frogs have arrived.
This project's been, how many for? 2-3 months. You know, it may be that it takes another turn and this is not the way to go, but this is, you know, it's taking a lot to get these little things. Little buggers. This is possibly part of the future, yeah. Here we go. 1, 2. That's it.
Who have a fatality?
They're not sized, they're getting acclimatised.
Those two are belly up.
They're not belly up at all.
They're not?
No, well, they're right on top of it, aren't they?
Oh, right, okay.
Darling, have some faith. No, they're playing dead. Not the little buggers. Oh, they're great, you know. They're amazing, aren't they? And I'm a great believer in that you can't make something happen until you physically see it. Now you've seen the frogs, you know the frogs exist, they're physically in front of you, you can physically touch them, you hold them, now's the next stage.
You know, I think that he's definitely a man on a mission when a new idea comes along, so yeah.
So can we harvest from this little frog the future of bioceuticals or biofarmers and create a product which basically you eat this and you live for another 50 years, 60 years? This is the future. You know, the reality being is we just want to be at the forefront.
It's 6 a.m. on Sunday morning, and 2 Rolls Royces are outside Tom Harrow's house in South London.
This whole day out is really pushing our imaginations to the limit. And the idea really is just to showcase the ultimate UK wine-based gastronomy day out.
The ultimate wine pantsuit, basically. Okay, how does Daddy look?
See you later. And, yeah, thanks, mate.
Tom's first port of call is Whitehall to pick up Baron Axel von Schubert and his wife Magdalena.
Now, again, you're quite far away the skinniest of us, so we're all going to go back here.
Perfect. Sure. No, these Rolls are rather small.
By 7 o'clock, the other roller has scooped up property magnate Nick Butterworth and hedge fund manager Howard Colvin.
We met on a private jet a few years ago, and we were going down to a vineyard in Bordeaux, and Tom's doing the wine tasting of that. But actually, he thumbed a lift on the jet. He wasn't meant to be on it. You know, so it's all right. He was standing outside Farnborough Airport to go on the jet.
To impress his clients, Tom must give them a day out nobody else could conceive of, let alone afford. So they're heading to Hampshire, to one of the only places in Britain where the exclusive black truffle grows wild.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh, yeah.
Tom, James, Magdalena and Axel. Today is all about quality and uniqueness. That's pretty much what we want to do, is give people an experience they've never had before.
And like anybody servicing the elite, Tom has left nothing to chance.
You don't find truffle, you say one on standby to take with you.
Yeah, always. You know, I mean, the backup's always important, and we have some that has already been found just yesterday, in fact. Fortune favours the wealthy. I don't know. We're off.
Truffle hunting is foraging for the super rich. An Italian truffle dog costs £2,000, and anything they dig up can sell for £750 a kilo.
Here we are. Oh, guys, we have action. Oh, there we go. Look at that. That is pretty fresh. Look at that. There we go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Imagine that shaved on a lobster. Ooh, yeah.
Well, it's spectacular. And I'm amazed at truffles here. I think it's unbelievable. We have black truffles this time of the year here in this part of England.
Tom's promise of delivering the undeliverable has got off to a good start.
I mean, this is something which no one else does, basically. I mean, here we are in Hampshire finding truffles, and you know, you talk to a lot of people, and like, you can do this in the UK. Like, you can if you know me.
And that is Tom's selling point, giving his clients something money alone can't buy, something beyond a simple product.
Perhaps one way of looking at luxury today is taking the product, whatever it is, as a starting point, but it's how you convey the story behind it, it's the context in which you put it. It's building the whole sensuous experience around it that creates a truly and unique, luxurious opportunity.
He almost works below the surface. He gets to areas where the average person couldn't get to. And like today, something that the general public wouldn't be able to easily achieve.
By 11 a.m, the rollers are crunching down the driveway of Exton Park for a tasting of Britain's newest sparkling wine with winemakers Coates and Seeley, 3 weeks before anybody else has had a sip.
All we care about is quality. We're not looking to be big. We're not looking to make millions of bottles. There's a vintage of this coming out later this year, which I think is really going to be sensational. Later today, we're going to taste the vintage rosé, which is the first vintage that Coates and Seeley has ever produced. It's not yet released. Well, it'll be very interesting to see what we make of it.
The arrival of a new vintage is always super exciting. It's like the next installment of your favourite movie franchise. Come through.
Tom also acts as master of ceremonies, ensuring that every moment has the correct sense of drama and spectacle.
Weapon of choice, tool of the trade, and yep, trusty, ready to go. What I'm going to do now is the ancient and noble art of sabrage. It was spawned by Napoleon's cavalrymen, the hussars of sabrage, which is basically lopping the head off a champagne bottle with a bloody big sword. Bang! Wow. Perfect, there we are. And a lovely clean cut. Look at that, there we are. When you're working with people who are so busy, you have to capture their attention immediately, excite them with something extraordinary and different, and there's not a second chance with these sort of people. So yeah, there is a degree of the children entertainer about the job.
It's these experiences of being able to discover new things and just being passionate about things and being fortunate enough to be able to experience them in a way that we are experiencing things today. It's much better than just sitting in front of the telly and watching a stupid movie.
For all businesses serving the super rich, getting hold of what they want is half the battle.
Oh, are you going? Are you going?
And when your product is as rare as white truffles, there's little love lost between competing suppliers.
Hey Linda, how are you doing? Yeah, good, how are you? Marvellous, thank you. In London, there are probably a handful of truffle dealers. It's very competitive, very cutthroat, and it needs to be because it's a season that lasts 3 months, you know, October to December, and it's over. So you drop the ball, you lose a client.
Just like in Tom Harrow's wine business, when things are this competitive, it's all about who you know, and in this, Mira trumps them all.
The context I have for truffles is unique. My father-in-law is from Umbria and Tuscany. Truffles being very prominent in the region meant that he had the contacts to buy truffles. So from day one of meeting my husband, whenever we went to Umbria, there was always truffles on the menu for lunch and for dinner.
Mira's married into an old Italian truffling family, and every November she pays the in-laws a timely visit.
My travelling back and forth to Italy is really about me doing the quality control, and I'm hand selecting these truffles. That is really important to my client because they know that I'm taking that extra special care for their meal. The key is buying well, and you know, you've got to be able to take what you want and get it at the right price, and you have to be quite ruthless about it.
Truffle hunting in Umbria is an age-old tradition, and Mira's contact, Alvaro Giordino, is one of the region's most respected hunters.
Dove sta Chicca? Il bianco si trova solo in posti umidi, coi bioppi, terra bianca, vicino ai laghi dei fiumi. Speciale per mangiare, sì. È ottimo. È l'oro bianco della cucina italiana.
Mira's relationship with Umbria serves an important function for her clients. It helps build up the story of her exclusive brand.
Because I'm married to the Italian network, I have access to people who get them straight from the ground. You know, you're as close to the source as you can, you know, short of flying over to Italy and digging it up. If you have a great story and a great product, you know, it's the winning combination. 1 down, 2 more to go. I think my story's quite a good one.
Over the next 48 hours, Mira visits 3 different dealers.
Mamma mia.
And smells more than 100 kilos of truffles.
This is such a stonking year.
Searching for Italy's finest product.
Well, I have certain clients in mind that I need to buy for, so I'm looking in terms of what I know that they would like to look at, to see, to feel, to touch, to smell. So I mean, it's all on your senses. 400 grams. There's definitely prestige in the big ones. I mean, you take it out, people go, wow, because you can tell that someone spent a shitload of money.
But what she's ultimately looking for is something a little more subtle.
The red in the white truffle is like a hallmark. So when you see the red, you see that it's actually grown near the roots of the trees. And some people, when they look for a truffle, if they really know their stuff, will never be put off by the red. Will actually only buy a truffle which has got a bit of red staining. That's what I'm getting. 3 kilos.
So how quickly could you sell these?
Well, I would say anywhere between a day to 2 days is probably likely that I will sell these. In this current market, in this climate with these prices.
But the price is one thing Mira never discusses in public.
You need to slowly, carefully hack, and slowly and carefully press across. I do have a figure in mind. Now, if I tell you, then I'll tell everybody, so I'm going to go this way. So you're going to stay here, and I'll be back.
Where are we going?
To the office, to organise payment.
Mira will leave Italy with 7 kilos of truffles. By the time she's added her commission and the prestige of her hand-delivered service, these fungi will have tripled in value, and her haul could be worth over £15,000. Back in London, Ken is not having quite such a successful day.
We're speaking to the department that looks after novel foods, and you know, if we take basically the unfertilised frog spawn and we basically do what we do to it and create this new product, it's classified as a novel food, and we're looking anywhere up to, he said, by the time you get something to market, it's going to cost you £1 million. I'm like, oh, great.
Ken has discovered that his Caviar XL is classed as a novel food and needs several years of safety testing before he can be issued a licence. The frogs will now face a very different future.
The boys are all excited that we're getting some form of pets, because we don't have any pets at the moment, and I think it'd be nice to have a few little frogs, and hopefully they won't be used further down the line. Hopefully these ones will stay as little family friends. We'll see.
But Ken is resolutely upbeat.
You know, we're not going to go crazy and bet shirt them. But what you're doing is slowly at the same time, you just have a juggler, 1, 2, 3, 4, you know one, you throw it in there. You know your own strengths. You don't want to get a whole bloody bag of stuff, and you're not going to catch it, are you?
Well, so, you know, you've got to keep on doing different things. There are so many people doing similar things. You've got to always find a new project and keep on evolving.
People think I'm absolutely mad, but you know, they said we'd be mad to start a surgeon farm in the UK. You know, the reality being is, you know, there are surgeon farms around the world, and all caviar is now farmed. It's all sustainable. That's the way it's changed.
The holiday season in London is in full swing. And the city's elite food suppliers are working harder than ever.
Anyway, so yes, the answer is whatever you want, we've got. But I would go mid-range. Mid-range would be for the Siberian session. Yep. £197 exactly. Exactly.
In Spitalfields, wine expert Tom Harrow is ending his millionaire's day out. At a townhouse atelier, a James Bond theme is illuminating rare vintage wines.
We have pretty much the best champagnes in the world arrayed for you today. The very first champagne that features in Bond is the legendary Comte du Champagne from Tatangier. It's a Blanc de Blanc, it's 100% Chardonnay, that's why we're starting with it. It's kind of the lightest, freshest style. This is the recently released 2005 vintage. James Bond was a legendary booze hound, but he was a connoisseur, as you'd expect. Cheers all, thank you for coming, fantastic to see you. Yeah, let's start drinking like Bond.
You and Bond?
Me and Bond, yeah.
All the champagne and wine has been paid for in advance by Tom's guests at eye-watering prices.
We're going up to A View to a Kill.
bottle of the feet in this vintage would probably be £500-600 a bottle, and in restaurants, probably just the right side of 2,000.
But at this party, money is the one thing that doesn't matter.
Diamonds are forever indeed.
I think it's about the best. I think it's what is the most delicious, really. Well, interesting, because we have short attention spans and we want to move on to the next thing.
Tom's Day has been a massive success, not just because of the wine he sold, but because he's given these people what they ultimately want: exclusive access to worlds they never even knew existed.
It's not just bragging rights, it's an experiential thing. I imagine one's palate can get very jaded if you're just used to drinking nothing but, crystal and flying around on private planes. It's sort of boring, frankly. So if you can be offered an experience which you hadn't even dreamt you could have, then you're actually opening up whole new visitors to people, and that's exciting to be part of it.
Have you tried the sherry itself?
Oh, that's seriously, chapeau.
It's one of the best Sundays we've had. Having somebody like Tom, who brings a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of friends and experience together like today, which I think was absolutely glorious, absolutely fantastic.
Can I take a drop more, actually? That's so sexy it hurts.
Tom is a man for all seasons. No matter what occasion, whether you require a restaurant or wine, you just ask Tom.
Harry, I'm at Oxford Circus. I'll be with you hopefully in about 2 seconds.
In central London, Mira is back with her haul of Italian truffles.
Got up at the crack of dawn, abandoned my children to go and do some deliveries. Who would get so excited about delivering? Moi. Right, that's the way we go. I mean, how glamorous is this? Like, zero. Hi, I'm here to see Jean-Philippe.
Over the next 3 hours, she will sell over £5,000 worth of truffles to restaurants, dining clubs and private clients. This has been quite a season for Mira.
I'd say this is my record year. I hit sales of about 70 kilos of truffles. This year, a lot of people can afford it.
But all the demands and hobnobbing are taking their toll.
Oh, hat.
And Mira is tiring of the truffle game.
I have seen a different world where there's this obsession with food that I can't bear anymore. On some level, I think the balance is completely a bit skewed. There's a snobbery about truffles, and I'm a bit tired of it, to be honest.
Oh, for God's sake, where the am I?
When I say to people I'm a truffle dealer, they go, wow, how glamorous. It's like, well, actually, is it glamorous being a delivery girl? Maybe some people say, no, you're more than a delivery girl, you're the expert on truffles. I'm like, yes, but is it that big a deal? And I guess, to me, it's not that big a deal. It's a mushroom. It's a fungus.
In South London, there's none of Mira's disillusionment. In fact, quite the opposite.
They're both using caviars. Give me 1 second, let's talk to him. Let's get Benning, hello.
Just days after his frog disappointment, Ken Benning is launching another business innovation.
What we want to do is be able to bring a brand new product to the market, brand new one, which is literally fresh caviar, as in really fresh. No borax, no additives. You turn the tin over, see half the stuff in the market, it's got more bloody additives than most kids' sweets do. But we don't do that. We want to make it to order, really make it to order, and give the customer a whole different experience. It tastes totally different. It's unbelievably creamy. They say, oh, we haven't matured. No, bollocks, it's been in the tin for six months. What we want is it literally been out of the fish 6 hours. Well, what you can see here, but all I can see, and we're close to it, is a same day, literally producing caviar at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, producing the caviar, and that fresh caviar is on the table of the customer in the top restaurant in London by lunchtime. We're going to have a look at this. Go down the corner. Ready?
Ken is now planning a sturgeon farm right on his own doorstep, allowing him to claim London's freshest caviar ever, direct from a postcode in Battersea.
It doesn't look like much, but at the end of the day, you've got to see this, you've got to see past the first bit. And basically what you're having here is literally London's first sturgeon farm. You know what? This is the future. This is literally, I think urban farming is where it's at.
For as long as the world's elite make London their home, businesses like Ken's, Mira's and Tom's are destined to thrive.
None of these wines are available, unless you happen to know me.
But as the clients get richer and their expectations grow, so the suppliers must keep raising the bar to provide that extra special feeling of unique exclusivity.
With this sort of clientele, imagination is the only barrier. One of the challenges, unquestionably, is when you've done a brilliant event, what do you do next? How do you top that? It's really just coming up with the next craziest, coolest, most exciting, unusual, rare